Hey everybody, it's Josh from CollectionDX.com here with another review. This time it is another JMBricklayer kit. This is the 70124 Fantastic Idea Mechanical Chameleon. This is got 827 pieces and it has a cool light up feature in it. And there has been a little bit of a challenge. Some people have noted with the build there, and there's a little trick to help out, especially with this glowing bit. And we'll be linking to that in the description. So when you get to that part, feel free to reference that section in the description. So let's go ahead and start the build and see what happens. So this is the part of the build where people have experienced a little difficulty, and I'm going to show you the best way so far to come around it. So some steps 77 to 96 in your instruction book. Basically, you want to assemble these components separately first, okay? Only difference from the instructions you see on the JMBricklayer's website, and the link will be below, is that this has a little green piece attached to it that isn't the same as the online instructions. First thing we do is we get the parts ready, and then we connect the tube and lever together. So let's do that. We have here our clear tube. Look at that. And then we have this whole assembly here. Isn't this interesting? And we have this assembly and another thing. All right, so here's what we do. We take the tube and we put it through this piece here first. Now the tolerance is very tight, so you want to make sure that you really kind of take a minute on it. And this is going to come around like this, and then it's going to attach to this piece here. So this hot dog looking part is going to go into that hole, like so. Hot dog in the hole. Don't forget, hot dog in the hole. Okay? You end up with something looking like this. Now, part of the challenge here is when you try to get this piece under here, everything is going to want to move. If you push the hot dog in too far, this piece is going to pop out. If you push this in too far, this piece is going to pop out. So kind of getting everything to work together against the force of the tube here. You can see what's happening slowly. Again, we'll just have a little patience. Everything will come together, but it can be a little challenge while you're in the middle of building it. So I'm not going to lie to you, this is difficult. And one of the reasons why is that this tube is so firm that it pushes parts out of the way. So there are a few things you can do. One, definitely check out the link in the description for this section, and take your time, go slow, etc. One thing that it suggests is there is another little black piece in here that you can leave out, and that'll give you more strength to that connection. Another piece that pops out often is this little piece here is supposed to connect into there. But honestly, if you don't connect this piece, the whole thing will stay together, right? And it'll look fine. But just be gentle with your pieces, and don't breathe too heavily on it. and it'll work good. So that's my advice here is basically look at that instruction bit online. Take your time. Don't be afraid to, let this piece hang loose. And also note that, I don't know if it really comes through, is that this piece isn't meant to be flat against the body. This is meant to pop out a little bit. So with that information, I think you're going to be all right. But let's continue the build and see what happens. Alternatively, another thing you can do is just leave this connector off of this piece, and everything will work. It's fine. Again, you might just have to muck with some of the positioning a little bit, but everything will come into place eventually and look good, okay? All right, I'm not gonna lie, this is a challenge. You can see here that I've actually just left these unconnected because there's a part that has to go underneath it that pops it up. I feel like I got it to a good place, so I'm just gonna leave these two disconnected at the moment. But I mean, still works, still looks great. It's just you also will have other parts that will connect to this assembly, like here and under here, so and under here. So there's a lot of things that will be added sort of at a later time to kind of keep things in place, but again, still a challenge, and I still sort of worry that I'm going to bump something out of the way and do something wrong. But I mean, it's a really fun looking build. There's nice parts usage of handlebars, pistol, binoculars. Then there's parts in here that I'd never even seen before, which are always a little interesting for me, like this angled peg piece that's used for the handle. Yeah, a lot of fun so far. Let's keep going with the bag number 3. So here's the finished product, the mechanical chameleon. Wow, this is so cool. Like all of these builds, you get to a certain point and you're like, oh, this is difficult. But man, once you do it and you see the final product, you're like, it was all worth it. So, this is a really interesting piece. I like it a lot. I like the half mechanical stuff like crazy. It's got a lot of translucent shell parts. And so it is articulated in that, if you took the chameleon off this, you can move the legs and arms and things like that. The tail, of course, completely unravels to, a nice extent. But it really probably can't support its own weight. I'm not really going to try. Maybe it can. But I mean, this base is so cool. I don't see why you would want to take it off. So these legs on this side, they're really just they're hollow shells, right? So, there's nothing structural about them. So you really can't do a lot with them. But it is great looking for sure. And the glow comes through on the other side. It's got the nice translucent bug catching effect. You can rotate the eye a little bit. You can move the jaw a little bit. You can position it to, like I said, to some extent. It really comes down to how, what you want to do. There's only one connection point with this and the base, and it's a little stud on the back of this leg. So depending on, how intricately you want to pose this, you might be able to do a little more with it. But it is just super cool. Now I wanted to show you the light feature. Again, you can see how great the light comes in this tube. I'm actually going to turn the lights off a little bit. Give you a better idea of the glow in this thing, because it's really phenomenal. The way it's activated is a little switch in here that you just turn it on, and there's just a single glow brick that lights up with batteries, and it actually illuminates both sides of the chameleon. So that's pretty great too. Overall, I really like this mechanical animal style kit that they do here. I can't wait to see more. We already did the astronaut, which was half mechanical. We have the dinosaur, the T-Rex coming up, that's mechanical. And again, I will say that this little light up bit, it is a challenge. You may note that I have two parts here that are not connected. But you know what? You may not have even noticed it until I pointed it out. Really doesn't matter. Just looks great. Same thing here, that this piece has a tendency to pop off a little bit. Don't care. It looks great. Doesn't matter how you do it. Yeah, so I would highly recommend this, like all JMBricklayer kits. This was far easier to build than the dragon head. which you haven't seen a review of because it's just too hard to build. But, you know, I would put it on par with the Spaceman, who you can see here. You know, so you have a little mechanical family of bricklayer stuff. This half cutaway stuff really is my jam. So the fact that they're doing this stuff is really phenomenal. So, of course, if you want to get one, there is a link in the description. It's going to be available on Amazon, available on the JMBricklayer site. There are special discounts for if you get it early enough. Please check them out. It's a great, fun build. I had a great time with it. A lot of interesting little things in here. I'll show you a few other things too with this build. I paused a little bit to tell you some of the interesting parts usage. These plants down here, those are art palettes, like painter's palettes, but being used as a plant. That's super cool. NPU, nice parts usage. And you also have the little butterfly at the end here that it's being caught. That's super cool. Yeah, I like it. Another thing I will say that was a little, oh, there's the nameplate, of course. Another thing I will say about this kit, the decals, easy to put on. But these are just regular decals. They're not like with the ship where you put the decal on and pull the clear part off. These are just decals. So stick them on, you're good to go. That's about all I have to say about this wonderful kit. Please, if you are interested in one, check out the links below. It helps the channel, helps the retailer. Everybody wins, and it's a fun, awesome build. Who wouldn't want this bad boy on their shelves? This is Josh from CollectionDX.com. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Ooh, I cringe when I say that. And we have another kit coming in a little bit. So if you like these, stay tuned. And once it gets to be a little cooler down here in the summer, we'll kick back into our regular review cadence. Thank you.